he's a liar.
Yeah.
Let's go. We ride in Jesus' name. Break Jesus sin and shame. Declare Jesus to the ends of the earth. We'll take it on the street. Praise, serve, and then repeat. Declare Jesus to the ends of the earth. Oh, 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 oh. Redemption is coming on the criminal's cross. Redemption is paid for on the criminal's cross. Redemption is paid for on the criminal's cross. Redemption is open for the broken and lost. We're not slowing down. 'Cause if your legs get tired, tell the devil he's a liar. Let's go. We ride in Jesus' name. Break Jesus sin and shame. Declare Jesus to the ends of the earth. We take it on the streets. Praise, serve, and then repeat. Declare Jesus to the ends of the earth. Oh, 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 to the ends of the earth. Oh, 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 the ends of the earth.
All right, well, that was Matt Crossan, and he led worship for us for the entire week of the Ends of the Earth cycling tour, the Key West Bike Ride 2021. And yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit about what Ends of the Earth cycling is and what the Key West Bike Ride is for Ends of the Earth. So I'm actually in a hammock at Bahia Honda State Park, and I'm doing a voiceover, and so I'm just going to try to catch you up on everything. I am totally out of routine. I was not able to film very much of anything this week. I spent so much time fellowshipping with all of these other cyclists. There ended up being 46 other cyclists, about 60 in total with support groups. And it was just amazing. One of the best experiences of my life. So about 10 years ago, Ends of the Earth Cycling was born, and Justin Hannikin decided to do a ride with some youth pastors from Fort Myers to Key West, Florida. They started out on mountain bikes. It was an amazing story. And they kind of made their way down, and God just provided interesting opportunities, those coincidences that only come from Him, all the way down. And it was just phenomenal. And so Justin was like, you know what, this is a thing, and I believe God's behind it. So Ends of the Earth Cycling was born. Over the last 10 years, they've taken, I want to say, 36 different trips all around the United States. They've got 30 states completed. Their goal is 50 at some point in time. Yes, Alaska and Hawaii will be part of those. But I'm going to leave a link in the description for Ends of the Earth Cycling. And what they do is they ride each tour for a specific overseas ministry. And in this case, it was Missio Link International. And we were riding for the youth of Romania. So each ride, you're able to kind of sign up. You pay an entry fee. And then your goal is to raise a minimum of $500, but a recommended $1,000 through fundraising efforts. And it's just amazing what they've been doing. I think that between last year, 2020, remember I was on the way down to the Ends of the Earth Cycling ride. Between 2020 and 2021, the Key West Bike Ride raised about $80,000 for youth in Romania. There were prayer, lists that we prayed through every day, that those ministries created for us so that we would know how to properly pray for the ministries that we were supporting. And just one that really stuck out to me was the Deborah House. It was one of our first days, and the Deborah House is a like a home for girls as they grow up, and like orphaned children type situation. And it was just really beautiful hearing one of the people, their testimony, one of the girls' testimony, and how God had just really reached in through Missio Link International and shown her life, a life more abundantly. And so, yeah, it's been an amazing week for the Key West Bike Ride 2021. Ends of the Earth cycling ended up being, I kind of went into this not really knowing what to expect. I knew that we were going to cycle 300 miles from Fort Myers to Key West, Florida. And I didn't really kind of calculate how much effort that would take or what we would be doing. And so this guy that's leading here, his name is Sean, and he actually took and rode my bike, which he's not on it here, to be able to, for everybody to keep up pace. He's a much more elite cyclist than I am. And so to keep up speed and everything that we needed, he took over and rode. It was just a really neat culmination of things, really the body of Christ working together on this ride. And so we're kind of going through the first couple of days here, and it was just it was a beautiful thing. I really didn't know what ends of the earth cycling would be, and so we would wake up each morning, we'd have breakfast, we'd stay at a different church each night, and it was just so beautiful. It was kind of like, when you're younger, Bible camp, really. I feel like I'm going to have the same memories from the ends of the earth cycling tour that I kind of do from Bible camp and vacation Bible school when I was younger, because we're all putting in all this effort and all this activity throughout the day. We're together when we wake up, we're together all throughout the day, and then we get back and it's, shower, eat, and go into a worship service. And it was just so refreshing to go into these worship services. And so, yeah, this is us rolling into the church on the first day in Everglades City. We had made it from Fort Myers to Everglades City. So I'll stop talking for a minute so you can hear what we kind of get as fanfare whenever we pull in with the cowbells and whatnot.
Woo! We went ahead and did the century ride. Yes, sir.
Yeah!
77
Woo-hoo! All right. Slowing, stopping. But so it was amazing. Like, we had the same kind of bring in at every time we took a rest stop, every time the support vehicles drove off, the SAG vehicles supporting gear. And it was just a really beautiful thing. Two guys that were our support guys were Jerry and Steve, and they were amazing. Like, it wasn't just set the food on the back of the truck and here you guys go. They went out of their way to, like, make the sandwiches for us. Pour the Gatorade in our bottles, pour the water in our bottles, take the bottles from us, pour the water in it. It was really just this servant leadership mentality that led throughout the whole ride, from Sean, who was our leader, to our support guys. I really just had no idea how amazing that the ends of the earth cycling tours would be until I went on one, and it was so neat. I cannot really get over. I wish that every Redeeming Eden cycle tour could start with, an ends of the earth cycling tour. Maybe I'll pray for that, that God would make a way for, whatever state I'm in and whatever time I'm starting, to be able to ride with them, because it wasn't just the miles, it wasn't just the days, it was also all of the other people that were involved. The very first night, Justin and Karina Hannikin accepted me into their home. They cooked a beautiful, wonderful dinner for me because I was in earlier than most of the other riders. Then we all went to the church, and it was just kind of a time of meeting everyone and getting used to the body that we were going to be for this week. and a really, really good man of God, Tom, and his wife Amy. Tom was kind of there that first night also, and stayed at Justin's house, and he really just kind of took me in, and I'm so thankful for Tom. Like, I cannot say how thankful I am that a brother in Christ who served in the mission field for years and years and years, it was just amazing. Like, I did not know how this week was going to work, just going on faith. And anytime there was a need, like, I didn't have to say anything. Tom was just there like, yeah, we got you. As a matter of fact, the very first day, he was like, what kind of food do you like? And I was like, jalapeno pepperoni pizza. He was like, let's find the best jalapeno pepperoni pizza in town. He's like, what kind of dessert do you like? I was like, my favorite dessert is key lime pie. He was like, well, you're in the right place for that. So after we had jalapeno pizza, then like he took us to a place to get key lime pie, which I was able to eat every single night of this tour, which was super cool. But we started in Fort Myers, Florida, and the first day was down to Everglades City. And this is us leaving Everglades City that next morning. And this day, which was day 2 of the ride, ended up being a 100-mile day, a century. And so we all took turns leading, and it was just really, really neat. Got to see some alligators down in Alligator Alley, the old Alligator Highway. And yeah, it was just an amazing, amazing experience. But time and time again, I would meet more and more people. There was this lady, Sunny, who, when I got there, I'd mentioned to Jay Boggs with International Gospel Outreach, like a week before. He was like, what are your needs? What can I be praying for? And I was like, I need some new bike shorts. Like the ones I have, the gel is not, holding up. They're a year old, and they're starting to get, the gel's wearing out. And he was like, okay. And so I get there, and Sunny, she's like, hey, I've got some parts that I need put on my bike, and if you can put the parts on my bike, then I'll be glad to like buy you some bicycle shorts. She just overheard me in conversation, on our director's ride, which was a ride that took place before the actual 5-day ride. She just overheard me talking, and she stepped out, in faith to bless me with ends of the earth cycling shorts. Now I actually have a matching kit of clothes that I can wear when I ride. And just seeing everybody come together out of all these different riders, all these different people groups from all over the country. You can sign up for an Ends of the Earth cycling tour. You go on their website with the link in the description, and you can find, all the different states they're riding in. I think this year they're going to be in Washington State, several other places, Idaho. It's just such a neat ministry because we get to pray, pedal, and repeat. That's one of their hashtags and slogans. We're actually going out and getting to experience these bike rides, but at the same time, we're getting kind of the blessing of experiencing the area we're in and the views of it, kind of like the Redeeming Eden Cycle Tour. But also in tandem with that, it's the Lord's ministry, so it's going to provide so much support for international ministries. I think they said at some point during the conference or during one of the speaking groups, David Worley was saying that 95% of the funds for international, youth ministry are here in America, and we've only got like 4% of the youth. And so the numbers are so skewed, and what a beautiful way to get funds where they need to be with the people they need to be with. And New International is who Ends of the Earth cycling is through. And it's a really cool thing. Also, you can go on the website, and when you go to the donation, you can they keep the Key West bike ride, they keep each ride open for a month afterwards in case any additional support is raised for the ministry. And if you would like to help with the youth in Romania through Missio Link International, on their website, on Ends of the Earth's website, the link in the description, you can go on there and you find the Key West Bike Ride donation section, and then you look up riders. My name is the first one in alphabetical order, and you would click my name, and then you'd make a donation, and it would show that I raised, you know, a certain amount of money toward the $1,000 goal that we had set. And that alligator was huge. We ended up, this was the second day, and we stopped to get strawberry milkshakes, and this Tom actually requested for this guy to sing this song.
Really falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Way down in Kokomo, Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego. Baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go, way down in Kokomo. Don't you make?
And yeah, we all, like, our entire group was just, you know, when he said Florida Keys, we lost it. It was so cool. And just the sights really started to change from the Everglades and on down. We got to go feed tarpon. That was kind of part of the Ends of the Earth tour. They had paid for us to feed tarpon as part of this, which was really neat. It was part of our entry fee, and I'm glad that they did. This is Tom here feeding one of the tarpon. He never could get the right angle because of the sunlight. And so here's me giving my old attempt at it. They said, you know, you're brave if you hang on to it until they take it out of your hand, but it's really kind of scary how they just pop up out of the water and take it. But yeah, just all the little sights and sounds, like that song, you know, it's amazing. When I was a little kid, 6 years old, I can remember being in Florida, and that was my favorite song. That's the first song I can remember having a favorite song, Kokomo by the Beach Boys. And I just remember it coming on the radio. This must have been 1988, 1989. It was coming on all the time down in Orlando where I lived. And so, you know, it was really kind of serendipitous to be getting down there fast, and now I'm taking it slow on the way back. It was so busy with everyone that I really didn't have time to process my emotions until the final day, really. And so this was day 3, I think. I'm kind of losing track here of where we're at. And the 7 Mile Bridge. So it was really, really cool to cross over the 7 Mile Bridge with all the other cyclists. Again, I was one of the slowest ones because of the weight of this sail of a bike. I mean, every little bit of wind, just it caught it. And they were all going like 14.5, you know, to 18 miles an hour, and I could barely squeak out 13.5. But again, so thankful for Sean. This is him again to just step in and get over and take my bike. It was really neat too, because he was one of the few people with mountain bike clip-in style pedals, so we could just clip right into each other's bikes. We're about the same size. But so many wonderful people on this tour. And yeah, I'll just kind of cut out here to the fanfare of arriving in Key West at the Southern Marker Buoy. How cool Ends of the Earth did setting this up for us.
Yeah! Sea train! Yeah! Oh, so cool. Park in the street. Congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you. And that was a very emotional moment for all of us getting there. So then once we left the southernmost point buoy, which was officially the end of the trip, we went ahead and rode down to the 0 mile marker past the lighthouse here, the Key West Lighthouse, and Ernest Hemingway's house on the right-hand side as we're coming through. Where all these trees and this palm tree are. And we were called the C train. It's like A, B, and C groups, but we were C, like S-E-E, because we like to stop and see everything and go a little slower than the rest of the groups. And so every time those trains would go by, I guess every mile we were yelling, "C train!" But it was so neat. All the people, again, it's one of those moments. I'm so glad that I did it. I'm so glad I experienced an Ends of the Earth cycling ride, because it's not anything I could have comprehended until afterwards. You know, one of the quotes from The Office that Sean and I talked about several times is when Andy says, you know, I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've left the good old days. And so we really tried to focus and keep that in mind as we rode through this. And Sean did such a great time leading us with this mindset that these are the good old days. Like, we're going to look back to this ride, and I already see, you know, one day removed, how wonderful it was to just learn really how to ride in a peloton with a bunch of other riders, and then just to experience the grace of a ministry that's going to support an international cause that is, you know, near and dear to all of us. Children are the future of the church. And so, you know, to reach out globally like Ends of the Earth Cycling does, to support so many international ministries. Again, if you've got, you know, if the Lord moves on your heart to donate, you know, for this period of time, Redeeming Eden is doing A-OK. So many people from the ride donated to Redeeming Eden that I'm A-OK. So if you get it in your heart that you want to donate, don't click the Redeeming Eden link. You know, click the Ends of the Earth Cycling link and go and donate, so that you know, these kids can have a future in Christ over there in Romania. Again, beautiful time. So glad I experienced it. Thank you, Ends of the Earth Cycle.
Is coming on the criminal's cross. Redemption is painful on the criminal's cross. Redemption is painful on the criminal's cross. Redemption is open for the broken and lost. Oh, we're not slowing it down. 'Cause if your legs get tired, tell the devil he's a liar. Let's go. We ride in Jesus' name. A great chains of sin and shame. Declare Jesus to the ends of the earth. We take it on the streets. Raise, serve, and then repeat. Declare Jesus to the ends of the earth. Oh, oh. Oh,